Hey guys, Bike here, and I'm back again with another YouTube video. I'm doing something a little bit different. For those who have been here before, welcome back. As you guys know, I play a lot of Last Epoch, a top-down isometric action RPG in the vein of Path of Exile and Diablo 4. But, you guys have been supporting the channel quite a bit that I've actually had some people reach out to me. Yes, I know. Not that I'm all that special. I've just had, people are trying to get their games out there as much as possible, and they're even reaching out to people like me. So I received a code for Lost in Random, The Eternal Die. There should be some gameplay playing right now. This is a top-down isometric roguelike game in the vein of Hades. Now, I haven't played Lost in Random, the first one, but from what I've heard, this is completely different. I think it's even a different studio. It's Lost in Random in name only, from what I can understand. It's, like I said, a lot like Hades, to the point that I was like, wait, did Supergiant make this? And I went and looked. I'm like, no, this isn't the same, but it feels kind of like an Alice in Wonderland Hades. And I've been playing it for about 3.5 hours now, and I think it's got some good bones here. Yeah, I think it's got some good bones. I've been enjoying it. So this is gonna be a first impressions, though I will say I don't think I'm going to be doing a full-on review. Like, I'll keep on playing it, but I think I have a pretty good grasp of what the systems are, what to expect. I'm sure the story will, take maybe some twists and turns, but for a game like this, I wouldn't review the story to that degree anyway, just for spoilers. So, all footage that you are watching in this gameplay was taken from the first biome. Just like Hades, there are multiple biomes, but I like what Thunderful, the developers, have done with this. And I think there's a few different, nice things that they are bringing to the genre that I think could be taken a look at. So we're going to go ahead, jump into the game. We're going to go over a few different things, and then at the end, I'll give my thoughts and then rate the game. So if you're interested in that, you can just go ahead and jump to the end. Anyway, let's go. In Lost in Random, The Eternal Die, you play Queen Alexandra with your faithful companion Fortune. He's like a six-sided die with legs and arms. And the premise of the story is you're ruling your kingdom, and then, the Fire Nation attacks, right? A dark force entity known as Mare. I'm not familiar with the first game, so I don't know if he was a character in there or if even Alexandra was a character in there. But essentially, you were attacked and sent to this, sent to the Shadow Realm. It's a sort of Alice in Wonderland themed place where you have to fight through everything to eventually get out. Like I said, I haven't beaten the game yet, but I've made it to the third biome, and I kind of have an idea of where everything's going to go. And just like Hades, you jump in. You fight through everything, and you unlock bits and bobs to upgrade your base as you go along. You earn currency, you can buy upgrades, a true roguelike. They have multiple different weapons in the game. So far, I've found 4. I think that might be it, but there might be more. I've personally gravitated towards the bow, so you're going to see a lot of bow gameplay going on here, and you're able to upgrade these weapons slowly but surely using a resource called Cinder. And you're able to really just customize the experience. It is kind of a linear path. Now you can kind of skip ahead after you get X number of upgrades to really customize how your weapon feels. But I think it's pretty cool, and you can feel the power progression as you're going along. On top of that, you're able to upgrade your character with multiple different points. You use a resource called Pip Dust, and you are able to just level everything up. If you're playing this game, I highly recommend you go for the revives as soon as possible. That was my favorite in Hades. So I in this game too, I just gravitated towards just get as many revives per run as possible. That's how you're able to just keep going further. And then just find a weapon, kind of play with all of them. You have a sword, you have a bow, you have a spear, and I believe a mace. They all kind of play differently, but I found the bow to be a nice touch. You're able to get that range and be able to reposition. So what does this game do that Hades doesn't? Well, not a lot. Like I said, it kind of does feel like a reskinned Hades. When you start a match, you get to choose a power, kind of like Hades, how you get your first, god power. Well, in this game, you get a card. And with this card, you're able to gain a power. Now, later on in the run, you can swap these out. And I don't know if there's a way to determine if you can, choose a permanent card that kind of works with your build. But so far, I haven't had too many issues. They are card power. You get the power, then you have to attack enemies. They drop like little crystals. And then with the crystals, you're able to go out there and just absolutely just obliterate using your card powers, and you can customize the way your card powers go. One nice thing about this game that I felt like was pretty unique, you get like this little grid thing, and with the grid, you're able to put these different colored dots and powers on there that have different corresponding things. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to line up 3 colors, either horizontally or vertically. I don't know if it works diagonally, but you're trying to match up these powers. And when you match up these 3 little dots next to each other, you gain a boost. On top of it, the little dots can have different temporary, no, not temporary, but different abilities, like permanent buffs. Like at the start of each encounter, you now gain 25% increased damage. And you want to try and line these powers up as much as possible, because you gain a permanent buff for every 3 you connect. It's kind of like Tetris. And you're trying to build your grid like that, and you can kind of swap out different pieces. It works pretty well, actually. I found it pretty interesting and pretty engaging, and you're able to kind of customize how you want to play the game. You want to focus on weapon power, boom, you connect all your reds. You want to focus on dice power, you can use fortune. You can chuck them at people. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier. You can chuck fortune at people. You want to do that, then you match up all your conjurations, so on and so forth. There's different powers, different things to explore there. Also, I guess, since I mentioned it a little bit earlier, what is this game that Hades doesn't do? Well, you have fortune. He's this permanent little companion, and you could take the die and chuck him at people. And you can use him in various little games as well. It's pretty interesting. You'll run into these levels where you go into the level, and there'll be like this game master, and it'll have like circus music and all that stuff. And it'll be like, step forward, dice wheel, dice. And you'll walk forward, and you can interact with them. Sometimes it costs gold. Gold is a resource in the game. Or sometimes it's free. And you interact with them, and depending on the game, most of the games all involve you picking up fortune and chucking them at a pile. And then depending on the number, you get like a prize, or you get an encounter, or you get something. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Those were like little interesting maps to run into. So speaking of maps, let's go ahead and cover this. One thing that this does that Hades does not, you're able to go back. Right. You're able to go back. I mean, if you could do this in Hades, then I am learning that for the first time, and I've played that game a lot. So you're able to go back to different maps in the area, and you can even unlock a fast travel system. I think it unlocks once you find a room with like something in it. And this is extremely useful if you find a room with a merchant, right? She sells all sorts of bits and bobs. And if you find that early on, it's not like, oh, well, great, I don't get to buy anything. You can be like, yo, hold up, let me go explore the rest of this biome, and then come back. Maybe I'll have some gold. Maybe I need something else. And you can do that for like healing rooms. You can do that for any assortment of things. And I thought that was really cool. You can even do that at the final room. You can see that it's the final room, and then you can be like, yo, hold up, wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's interact with the rest of the map, and we'll go from there. So far, I haven't seen too much power fantasy using the dodge. I feel like that's one of the hallmark things with Hades is like, oh yeah, you can gain these powers, and every time you dash, you do an effect. I haven't really seen that. They've kind of leaned into the card system and using fortune as a weapon, which I mostly personally was just like, I'm just going to focus on my own weapon. Using fortune can be a little clumsy at times. You're trying to run around and then you use fortune and a big old, like, you know, catapult looking thing appears on the ground and you can kind of choose where it goes and then you can chuck it that way. For the most part, though, I've been having a pretty good time with the game and I will continue to play it. So let's go into my final thoughts. We've already discussed the weapon system. We already discussed that you can upgrade your character. You can find new, things in the world as you're going through the biomes and unlock and further develop your base. I'm not going too far into that. I don't want to spoil anything. For those who might have played the first game, maybe there's story beats in there that I'm not aware of that you might be interested in, so I don't want to give too much away there. So far, I feel like this game does everything very well. It runs extremely well. I don't know if you've seen up in the corner during the gameplay. I had 165 FPS constantly. I'm playing this at 1440p, though the recording is 1080. I am playing on a 4080 Super. I'll point that out. That is a pretty powerful card and a 7900X. It's a 12-core processor, but this game runs extremely well. I guess I should also point out I'm playing everything on normal difficulty, so no easy mode here. But nonetheless, I feel challenged. I feel like it's a good time. I've played for 3.5 hours. I feel like it's going pretty well. So as a first impressions, granted, this is first impressions. If I keep playing and something really drastically makes me want to change this, I'm going to give it right now around an 8.5. The only main drawbacks are there's just so much similarity to Hades. I keep referencing it over and over again. Even the font is the same. They've done some things, but this almost feels like a reskinned mod for Hades. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. More Hades out there. But if you already own the Hades games and you're looking for something to really, constant to really change it for you, I don't know if this is going to be that game. But it runs really well. It brings some unique ideas. If you like this, I think it's worth your time. I believe it's going to be $25 and it comes out on June 17th. So if I've done my math correctly and I put my video out just well, I'm putting this video out on June 16th. So tomorrow the game will be out and it'll be $25 unless a price has changed, unbeknownst to me. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I normally cover Last Epoch, but the dev sent me this code and I wanted to check it out. Big shout out to Thunderful. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to cover your game. I had a great time. I'll continue to play it off stream, and if anything else changes, I'll update this video with a new review or impressions. Anyway, you guys take care. Peace out.